talk about stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about lots of stuff and things and everything.
So, what did you want to go over first? Was there any games in particular over the past couple days that you wanted to talk about?
You didn't play tonight, did you? Who played tonight? The Alaska game got rescheduled. Omaha Northern Michigan played. Do we know who won that?
Omaha won game 1. I didn't see who won game 2. It was a close game, became a 4-2 game by the end, I think. And then not sure about game 2.
Okay. And then our series, it was overtime win for us, game 1 against Notre Dame, and then we lost 4-2 in the second game, I think.
Pretty good way for us to debut.
Yeah, well, you guys got a good team for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, I guess I'm just looking at the agenda, so we'll start off, I guess, introducing ourselves. I'm Six, commissioner of the league. Not much more to it. I'd help with the media stuff and all the kind of league-related stuff, obviously. Dobe, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, W Mac, coach of Michigan and league operations here for TLX. And Dozer.
Yeah, Dozer, I'm head coach at Notre Dame, or one of the head coaches at Notre Dame, and then a moderator here for the league.
Nice. So we're going to be talking, I guess, about power rankings and basically stuff around the league, and then a couple other topics, I guess, at the end for following the agenda thing. Should we just dive into the power rankings that we have?
Sure, yeah.
Let's go for it.
Who wants to talk about their rankings first? Why don't we start with Dozer?
All right, let me pull up the rankings that I had. All right, so just off the start here, I'm thinking I'll go from the 5 to 1 here. I'm thinking Notre Dame 5, Alaska 4, Maine 3, Michigan 2, Wisconsin 1.
Okay, so what made you think of Wisconsin being number 1?
Their entire team is full of sweats that piss me off and are all from LG.
And they're all from LG, but yeah, a lot of LG on that team, and Braden's always sweats on his roster. He's kind of notorious for that.
Has anybody played them yet? Like here? Like have either of you guys played against them?
Yeah, we played them.
Actually, that night is a bit of a historical night in league history that we played them.
Oh, they're the ones that made Minnesota quit?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to that story a little later, though.
Okay, we'll hold that juicy topic.
Okay, so Wisconsin comes in, makes Minnesota quit. The Dozers giving them the respect. I get that. I could see that. And Michigan number 2. You have Michigan number 2. What's your reasoning there, Doze?
They've been on top of the league for the past 2 seasons. I don't expect it to change.
Fair. What do you think about the rest of your top 5?
Maine, they've always been a good team. Like last season they did great. So they're still looking pretty solid from what I've seen so far this season. Alaska, they're winning some games, coming out on top lately. And then Notre Dame, because they got to give my boys some credit.
Yeah, no, you always gotta. You're confident in your team. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good list. What do you think about that, Doug?
Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's interesting because like I've seen everyone's list already. So basically 4 of our 5 teams are all the same, different orders, but there's some nuances to it. But yeah, Notre Dame will be interesting because I don't have them in my top 5. I know they've got some good players, but it's just because I haven't even seen them play yet. Like I saw them play a little bit today, but I didn't really get to watch the game. So, and they split, and right? You guys split with them, I think. Anyways.
Yeah. I think I was mentioning this to you earlier. I think Michigan, Maine, Alaska, and we'll talk more about Wisconsin, but I think Michigan, Maine, Alaska are like the 3 teams that I think are kind of separate from the rest. And then I think you have a whole bunch of teams that are like, we're just have to see until I know for sure, including my team, including Notre Dame, Penn State, BC, all these other teams. I think it's really hard to say. Still so early.
Okay, so why don't we lead that into your list of your top 5? Have it up on screen here.
All right, I do. My whole thing when it comes to like who's the best team, I would have definitely given it to Michigan if it hadn't been this week, just because, like Dozier said, you guys have been nasty for 2 full seasons, and I still have faith. I'm not doubting on the Michigan guys, but if Alaska sweeps you, I find it hard to put Alaska below you. You know what I mean? So I had to put Alaska number one. I think Alaska just came into the league with 2 really solid results against you guys, and I personally have had pretty high expectations for them. Basically, I told some guys I've been trying to get that team to join the league since season one, so I'm really looking forward to that team being a top team in the league. I think they've got a lot of potential. So Alaska, I think great D, good forwards, seem to have good goaltending too. I'd be interested to hear you talk a little bit more about your series with them. I didn't actually get to watch the whole thing, but yeah, I put Alaska one. Michigan, I just explained, Michigan. I just think it's a gimme. Like if Alaska hadn't beat you guys would be up there one. Maine, like I was saying, I think Maine, Michigan, Alaska are the 3 top teams. I think BCF did a really interesting job bringing in some guys. I think he's kind of like the most savvy like GM in the league that we have, like as far as like understanding of rules and how to kind of configure his roster and just kind of run his team. I think he's really, really good at that. He's done a great job fixing up his team for this season. They had a great preseason, and they've started off, I believe, 4-0 already. They spanked Penn State the other night. So I think Maine could be right up. I think Maine could be one. You know what I mean? Like, I think, who knows? And then Wisconsin, a bunch of their guys got banned in season one. Uh, Anybody who was here season one knows what happened with Wisconsin. So I, I have my concerns that this team looks really good. It might burn bright and then kind of burn out really quickly. That's kind of where I'm like, I think they have great potential, but I don't know what's actually going to be. And then I put BC five because I think BC's had a crazy start. I just think you have to look at the results. They're 4-0 and they've had really solid wins. I think Eagles fans did a great job. Like he brought in a goalie, he's brought in some defense, he's brought in some great forwards. It's like this guy came in the offseason and I think he killed it.
Yeah, no, they've off to a good start. Who did they play? They played BC played Michigan State and Minnesota State, or yeah, okay, I think that's the two
Yeah.
teams they played. So they
Yeah, so it's not
2-0 both
clear
of
that their
them.
opponents were the best, but I mean they've done what they're like what more can you ask, right?
They're
Like
definitely better than last season. I'll give it to them there.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. That's why I'm like I think there's a whole pack of teams here, the BC, the Notre Dame, all these the new teams that have come in. But we just don't know who's quite there, but I think BC's, looking really good right now.
Yeah. Okay.
We move on to Dobe's list.
Sure. Yeah, my list is actually very close, if not actually it's almost the same, except for my number 5. So I had Alaska number 1 because
Okay.
normally I'd be putting Michigan number 1, but they did just beat us in 2 games. So for now,
Yeah.
they are in the top spot, my opinion. But we're coming for them. But it's interesting to see Michigan across the board at number 2. So even though we lost both games, that we're still seen as one of the better teams, and so it's nice to see.
Yeah.
Same. I agree with you what you said about Maine. Bisev's been a really good GM. His team's had a ton of turnover, and he still manages to make his team competitive. It's almost like if you look at his season 2 team versus season 3 team, it's almost completely different, and they're still really
Very
good.
different.
So
But that's what I mean. Like he's so on top of it. Like that's what you know what I mean. Like that's I don't even see that as a negative turnover. I see it as like a guy who's like really on top of what he's doing with the team.
yeah, it's kind of unique for him because most of our teams, it's a bring your own team league, and so like for me, for example, we change like 1 or 2 guys a season maybe, and that's about it. But and most teams are kind of like that, but you have your core couple of guys, but he
Well,
lost
my
2 of his core guys, and he's still able to build a good team. So I'm actually really excited to play against him to see what it's like.
Yeah. They got Peels who went the 12th in the LG draft, which made me happy because I've been pumping that guy's tires since like the first day he's in the league.
Yeah, no,
I
Peels is
think
probably one of the best
defense is
D.
so big. Yeah, Peels is an animal, and defense is like every team needs defense so badly.
good defense is really hard to find, so he's a
Yeah,
big asset to any team.
yeah, yeah.
Agreed. And then
What
number
about the West? You got
4.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, so I got Wisconsin at number 4. Like they're a good team. Like I haven't played against them since season 1. I imagine they're similar but sort of different roster. Haven't really gone through exactly who's on their roster right now, but I know that they're good.
Oh,
I've
I'll
seen
tell,
them blow out some teams, so like they earned a spot in the top 5. And for me, my number 5 is different. I got Penn State in there. But for me, it was a tough choice between Penn State and Omaha. I wasn't really sure which team I put in there, but Penn State, I think I've gotten to know those guys a little bit better, and I feel like the style of play that they play, like they're going to break through at some point into like the top teams. But we'll see if
Yeah, I
this is
thought
their
so too.
season.
I was surprised. I don't know what happened in the main game because the main games were really lopsided. That's the only
Yeah,
reason.
why don't we talk
Like,
about that a
was
little
like,
bit, because I talked to Penn State's coach and like he said it was just a tough game overall. Like it just they didn't play well. Goaltending wasn't the greatest, but they were giving up like grade A chances too. So it's just one of those where they just did not have a good game. They didn't have it at all in either game because they got blown out twice. So
we know who's been playing that for them. They've only had 2 games, right? I can find out.
they have 2 new goalies. I know Mark the Shark played at least one of them. I'm not sure if their other guy played the other. But they're another team where they're a
Yeah,
bunch
he
of
played
buddies
both. He played
who.
both.
Okay, yeah, they're one of those teams that like they have a bunch of guys that they played with for a long time, but
Yeah,
goaltending is something that they've been trying to figure out because they're all players, like they all play out basically. So if they
yeah,
can figure that out, I think that they're easily in that top 5.
yeah. I think that I totally. If we hadn't seen the regular season yet, I totally would have had them top 5. They got that good core, and then I think Marcus Shark is a great goalie. I was surprised to see that he was the guy in that for those games. I'm sure. Hopefully, it was just a momentary blip for that team.
I'm thinking for even all of our like 5th spot can. I bet you it'll change weekly because there's so many teams that are right around that mark. They'll just pop up and down.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Let's. Should we just go through? I guess, kind of the standings, and go through each team as
Yeah.
best as we can. It's a little hard because not everybody has done their stats. Um, so I'll just kind of try to.
Yeah,
Unless
I'll try to
Dobe, you
pull
don't
up
know
the
it, do you?
website here. For me, I'm seeing Boston College number 1. Yeah, there's a lot of things that aren't submitted yet, but the teams that are
We
4
can we
0
can do a
right
little
now.
reverse because Maine is 4-0, and I don't think any of their stats are in. Because you guys
Yeah,
can still work to
Maine's
figure out
4
how to do
0,
that.
BC's 4 0.
I mean, you played Penn State and Northern Michigan, so that makes Penn State
Alaska, Wisconsin have
0-2.
only played 2 games, but. Or has Wisconsin played? Or is that just they haven't played?
Wisconsin
No, they have. They played
has,
Michigan State yesterday, right? Okay, so they're 2
yeah.
0. Yeah, it's tough to
Yeah,
say.
let's just start with BC. Let's start with BC. What do you guys think about BC?
I haven't gotten to see them much. Like, I kind of want to defer to you guys because I haven't seen them play much or played against them too much just yet.
I played a pin game against them like last week, and I thought they were pretty good. No, Wolfie has been pretty good in net for them. I think he's got the first shutout of the season. And I was looking at the stats. I'm pretty sure he also has the best stats for goalies. So that seems like a big pickup for that team. They got only 4 goals against in 4 games. That's insane. Um, that's crazy. But yeah, we don't know how great their quality of competition has been with the short sample size, but still, it's a great indicator. Yeah, I mean, I kind of said that when I was talking about power rankings. I think BC kind of definitely a new look team. They had a good base before they had that playoff run. I think they're definitely leveled up for this season.
Would they be like your sleeper pick for the season, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, like I put them at 5th, but it's just because I think it's just because we've had so few games, and I think there's like we were saying, there's a whole bunch of teams that I think are kind of in that mix. But they're definitely in that mix. And last season they finished 7th, so I think they're definitely a team that could surprise. I definitely think they could do something similar to what they did in the playoffs last year, for sure.
For BC, I'm thinking like they're doing really well right now, and they definitely are looking strong. But I'm still gonna have to factor in the teams that they played against. They're not the top teams in the league. BC hasn't seen any of them, the top teams yet. So I think that might change. Their results might change when we get a little later in the season.
Do we know
Yeah,
what their
no, I
roster's
think
like? Is it the same as season 2-ish?
it's like they took the core and they just added like Wolf and Ned, and they added J-Man up front, and I think a couple other guys, and then they added like the Evan Bouchard guy on D, and I'm not totally sure who else, but it's not like they were a bad team to begin with, you know. So I feel like they've just upgraded all the right pieces.
Yeah,
So
to
I think
me,
they,
they're
you know,
sort of middle of the pack with potential to be in the
yeah,
top.
yeah. Michigan's next. What do you think about your team, Dobe?
I think we're looking good. Like, I honestly think, like, I know, like we won season 2, but I feel like our team's gotten even better just from playing with each other, just over the past couple months, because we've been playing a lot of tournaments, like with the CBJ. I've been in that a couple times, and we're just seeing a lot of progression. If I look back all the way back to season 1 until now, I feel like we're just so much better of a team now. It's just the chemistry is building. We pretty much have the exact same team as season 2. We have one change. We brought in NJ Stoll, who's been really, really good. So I think that we're poised to be able to go for another championship run. I just feel like the league's gotten better, so it'll be tough to say. I can't guarantee a repeat, but I'd like to say we can at least be in the conversation.
Yeah. Let's what's the kind of elephant in the room on your record? What was this Alaska series like?
They're a good team. They're a good team, but we had no idea what to expect with them. Like, I heard that they were going to be a good team coming into it, but we weren't sure exactly what they'd be like. They're quite good defensively. They're good at holding their blue line. They like to hit. I found that they're very gritty and grindy, like similar to us in that sense. But I feel like we had a lot of chances. Both games could have gone either way. Like, they were actually pretty intense. Like, one was an overtime loss and the other was a 1-goal game. So just a couple little mistakes that we made, so that kind of led to the goals. But I look forward to playing them again. Like, I think it was fun. Like, their coach is pretty cool too. I talked to him a little bit, and like, I think they're a good addition to the league.
I think one of the things that I'm really liking with the league this season and the last is it's a lot of the teams are really close. And that, like what you're saying, like it's like you finish a game and whether you won or lost, you're like, okay, like 1 or 2 decisions I made had a big impact. You know, and like that's such an interesting feeling to have after a game where you're like, oh, like if I hadn't made this play or if I had done this, like we might have won the game, rather than other leagues where it's like 7-1 or something. You know what I mean? Like you get these massive blowouts. I just think it's a lot closer at kind of every aspect of the league this season.
Yeah, like
Well,
honestly, like those games, like they felt like playoff games in a sense that
yeah,
like they were just so gritty. Like, we were all fighting for space everywhere. We're forced to make like lots of like little passes and get a little bit creative to like create opportunities. We had chances to. Especially in the first game, like we missed a lot of open nets and stuff, and just one of those like roller coaster of emotions type of game.
yeah. Well, that pushes us to Alaska, which we're kind of already talking about. Uh, like I kind of mentioned in my power rankings, I think Alaska definitely a team to be really. I'm glad to have in the league. I think they're really interesting. The coach B Harden and his buddy M Smith are 2 of the best D that I've played with in the sixes. I think they've like that's exactly what you need in a team. We're just talking about how huge like having good DR. And it seems like their forwards and goaltending are good. I think that's definitely a team to me that looks like a contender already, for sure.
Yeah, Dozer, have
What
you
do
had
you guys think?
any interactions with Alaska yet, and any pins or anything?
Nothing yet. So I don't really have an input for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hard part about doing it so early in the season, especially with the new teams. Well, let's just go down the standings to the other teams, even though they're not complete. We can just go through how it is. Minnesota State. So how do you guys play them?
I did a tryout with them before I decided to become a head coach again. They're decent. Like
Yeah.
they're not among the top, but they're not bottom scrapers.
Yeah, I think they got interesting. I noticed the Cincy Iceberg guy was really good, and the TJC, the off-season thing. He was killing
Yeah.
it at the point. Like he had all these great shots and pretty good in the D zone too. But he was rifling pucks into the net. He was doing great. I
Yeah.
think they got an interesting core. I think they're one of those middle of the pack teams. You know, I'm not sure what to make them. They're 1-3, 1-2-1. We played them Bowling Green. It was our opening series, and it was pretty tight. I felt
Yeah.
like we could have played better, but they definitely are an interesting team. I think moving forward.
Yeah, I've played a
So,
couple pins against them. Like there was, I think they're doing tryouts so really early on, so it was a bit of a blowout. But then there was another game that we played. We had a bunch of lag outs. We just ended up finishing it, but they're both like 1-1 games, I think, in the when we were lagging out. So I feel like that they've added a couple good players, and they'll be one of those middle of the pack teams that could surprise people, I think, as well.
yeah, especially if they're like you're saying, like the top line is. I remember in preseason, I think they went 2-2 and they split with Penn State and someone else. So it's like definitely interesting. There's definitely something there. So, all right, I guess that closes the click up Minnesota State. Bowling Green. Do you guys have any inputs on my team?
These guys are trash. I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah, I
kidding.
think they're severely overrated, you know?
Overrated. We're not even in the top five.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. I'm joking.
We're not ranked. Overrated. So.
Yeah.
You guys haven't played us, right? Oh, you've played us a bunch of times, though, haven't you?
Yeah, no, we've been you guys a bunch. Like, I think that with your team, it really depends on who's in your lineup. But I
Yeah.
find that you guys have a couple good pieces. Like, I know you guys just signed Derek. That's his name,
I
Derek, right?
think
Yeah, he's a good player. You guys have a couple good weapons up front,
you
and
just
pretty
got the best goalie in the league.
true.
We did. We stole Hybelin that night. He messaged me. He's like, "I'm off Minnesota." I'm like, Bowling Green needs a goalie." Like, um, yeah, no, Hybelin. I think his first game. Oh my God, dude! We played Wisconsin the preseason. The night after that happened with your games, and
Yep.
he was in net again. It was just I didn't realize at the time, but after I was like, oh my God, dude, Wisconsin has scored like 25 goals in this dude. And it's like not even really his fault. It's just like I'm like he
Bad
must have
bounces.
like PTSD from these games against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but no, he's been since then he's been really solid for us. He didn't play tonight, but I think he played both against Minnesota State, and he was really solid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're good. We got a bunch. We definitely, I feel like we upgraded our team, kind of like BC. We added a bunch of pieces at every spot. I think I really like the vibes in our team. You know, it's like a fun group of guys to play with. They're still competitive, but it's not like toxic at all. Even though we're always memeing about being toxic, it's like a really fun team to be on. So yeah, I think we're gonna. I think we're like one of those middle pack teams that could be pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like with you guys, even just like playing you guys in the playoffs last year, or like late in the season, you guys are very gritty and defensive.
Yeah, grind out games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So like it's
yeah,
not it's
you
not
definitely
fun. Like
do.
I don't want to play you guys in the playoffs because I feel like you could sneak out wins if you guys keep grinding it. But
That's what we did tonight against Notre Dame. We were down 2-0, and we scored two in the third, and then one in OT. And we're like, oh my God, like, what just happened? Yeah, that's exactly how we are. It's just like, I think it's really hard to play against us. Not as hard as it is to play against Michigan, because you guys are really annoying to play against. But,
Agreed.
yeah, I'm actually okay. Since you
we're
said
tough
that,
to play.
I'm interested in the perspective of other teams of like what do they think of playing against us? Like what
I
is
just feel like
annoying? I
there's
hear
no
people say
time and
we're
space.
annoying to play against.
There's no
I'd
like time and space to like when I get the puck and it's like past the red line. I
I'll
just
put
feel
it
like
this way.
there's nothing good to do.
I'd put it this way. I'd much rather play Michigan State. Specifically that one guy in the audience, Mr. Ram.
Yeah, and I just feel like we're playing Notre Dame tonight, and no disrespect to Notre Dame because I think they are a good team. Like I really felt like I could make some stuff happen, right? But like when I play Michigan, it's like you guys are like breathing down our necks all the time, coming into the zone, and it just feels like oh the puck's coming back at us all the time. Um, and I just think it's not that fun because you're like great, like now I got to defend again, and these guys also know how to do stuff with the puck. And so the whole game is just like that. After that, they were like, "Oh, do you want to do another one?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to do another game. Like, I want to get off." That's kind of what I think is annoying. But like, it's not like annoying where I'm like, I hate these guys. I'm just like, damn,
Yeah.
like, they're good at closing in on people with the puck.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
taking
So
away that
sometimes I
space.
feel like we're the villain of the league at times. People don't like playing against us.
Yeah,
But
if you keep winning, I think this season, if you have a little bit of a stumble, you won't be. But if you keep winning, for sure.
I'd actually like a bit of a take on it. I think, yeah, you're definitely the villain to play against. I think if we wouldn't have folded, Minnesota was the villain because everybody hated us. I can guarantee that.
I don't think
Yeah,
we
I would
hated
say
you guys.
that's
There was
somewhat
nobody.
true.
We didn't have any hate in our locker room for you
If you
guys.
didn't have anybody banned, I think you guys 100% would have been the most villainous in the league. I feel like
Oh yeah,
we purged some of the villains, and then it was
it's just the guys that
well,
I picked up turned us into villains. I think.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Like
Um,
I don't know. Like
but you
what are the
rebuilt the
like?
team. You got Cormsby now on Notre Dame. You got some other. You got kind. It's like Minnesota and RMU now on Notre Dame, basically, right?
Yeah, we kind of took a bit of our core from Minnesota and kind of combined it with the old Robert Morris and made Notre Dame what it is right now.
Where are
Yeah,
you going to be
let's
playing on
do
that
Notre
team,
Dame.
Dozer? Are you going to be playing on defense, or what do you? What do you
I'm
fit
playing
in?
wherever I'm needed.
Okay, fair enough. What a coach.
Yeah, exactly. This guy knows what it takes. But yeah, that was our next team was Notre Dame. Yeah, what does your team look like, Dozer, like overall?
I think you guys are sleeping on Notre Dame. I think we have a chance to come out and surprise some people. I'm feeling strong about the guys that we got, and
You got
I
good
think
players.
I think it'll be a good season.
You know who I'm interested to see is Owen Tilk. He's the one he won the award for you guys, right? Last season is
Oh
the
yeah, he's
coming
ridiculous
forward.
on. He's
He's just
ridiculous
getting
on
better and
forward.
better. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think you guys will definitely have potential. Next team is Maine. We kind of talked about Maine a little bit. Does anybody have anything to say about Maine?
No, I like
Anybody
them. I
played
think
them?
they're
Anybody
good.
played them? We
Not
haven't
yet.
played them. Yeah, I
No, I
guess
haven't
kind of
played them
named
since
out.
season 2, so I'm treating them like a brand new team, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it largely is. I know Bisa's playing more. I think he mentioned he was going to be playing more for that team, which I think is good because he's a good player. He was like the most backseat GM. I think he played like 3 games last season. But I mean, it worked. Got them to the final. So,
Yeah, I think he was busy with some personal things, but he's going to be playing more this season, I believe.
word. Next team is Omaha. Oh my gosh, Omaha. We got stuff to talk about. This is like I was surprised you were saying Dobe. I think you said it was Penn State or Omaha. Don't you think Omaha has fallen off so much with the CJ crew dipping out, or do you think you have faith in this rebuild that Cindy's doing?
They have some good pieces. I think they have some good
They
pieces.
do. They do.
And like I was actually impressed because I expected when those guys left, it kind of gutted the team and like they were going to fall down the standings to like the bottom, but I don't think they'll be at the bottom. I think that they're going to be another middle of the pack team that can surprise people. So, and they got
Good
Dirty
point. And I just
Dangler on
remember
that
they beat
team.
Northern. They did. But I'm just remembering they swept Northern Michigan tonight,
They did,
which is
yeah.
a pretty solid result. You played them, right? What did you think about Northern Michigan?
Northern Michigan's solid. They're solid. They're another good team. Like they're also quite good defensively, kind of gritty, try to take away time and space. But we were able to figure them out. So in our series against them at first, like the first game was really, really tight. Both teams were a bit tentative to like do too much because we both didn't know anything about each other. And as the game wore on, we kind of started picking up, where we could find some space. I'm not going to exactly say what happened. I don't want to give away strategies, but
Okay.
I thought that no, we played well. Like we figured it out. We were passing it well, and in the very first game, I think we scored with like 10 seconds into the game, or maybe not even like 5 seconds into the game. And I think when that happened, we thought it was going to be a bit of a cakewalk, and then we realized quickly, no, this team's actually pretty good. But we kind of dicked around for like a period and a half, and then we kind of found our game again, and then took over from there. Because in game 2, I felt like we were pressuring them like crazy, and we're just forcing turnovers and stuff. But they're not a bad team by any means.
Yep. Okay, so the other teams that we have left is Penn State. I feel like we really talked about Penn State. We talked about Wisconsin.
Would you want to
Michigan
circle
State is
back
the
to
other team.
Omaha? Is there anything that you wanted to?
Oh yeah, I kind of got us off on. Well, yeah, I agreed with what you were saying about the pieces. Like I think Dirty Dangler definitely can score some goals, can definitely do some damage on the team. Man, is a really solid center. Um, I think they've got some pieces for sure. They got guys that I don't know that they brought in. Oh, they got WVU Pence. He was the goalie on our VG team, Dobe. I think he's a really solid goalie, like really, really solid. So I think that's definitely interesting. They have new guys too. And so they have a decent core that came back and some interesting new guys. I think it's an interesting team. I do. I have no idea what to make of that team, other than I think that Northern Michigan team is pretty solid, and then they swept them tonight in what looks like two pretty close games. So yeah, I think you actually might be onto something with that. That they're actually a pretty good team.
True. Nice.
Anybody
Who's
else?
next on our list?
I was just saying, I feel like we talked out Penn State, Wisconsin earlier. Um, I mean, I can talk about Wisconsin. Wisconsin, I think Braden's like the key thing to that team, and I think Braden just keeps getting better and better. So I think that team could definitely do some damage. And he's going to find guys he likes to play with. Hopefully, they're playing all their games. Uh, but I think that team's going to be dangerous. Braden was top assists in the league last season. I think he probably could have been top points realistically season one if he had played every game and sweated a little bit more even. But I think he's a great player and he's put some good players around him. So I'm really interested to see what happens with that team. Do you guys have any thoughts?
I have nothing to say about Wisconsin that should be shared to represent the league.
Those
You're
are
big
very
fan.
got a very
He's a
bitter.
big fan.
Yeah. Um, he's like very mad at Wisconsin, but also put them first overall.
At least he's
Uh,
Like
honest, though.
the
Yeah.
coach is my good buddy, but I do not like that team one bit.
Yeah, you're entitled to your opinion. But they played. I thought it was interesting. It's like us into Michigan State, which is the only team we haven't really talked about. Which is that they played Michigan State. It was actually pretty close for parts of that series, at least. I know it kind of broke open in the second game. I was watching it for a bit. But both of those games were pretty close score-wise, at least. For a team that some of us were saying is the top team in the league. Quite close games against Michigan State. That was interesting.
Yeah, Michigan State's like they're a pretty good team now. Like they've got a couple snipers on that team that are sneaky snipey. Like they'll come in at the blue
Yeah.
line and snipe them when you're not expecting someone to shoot. Like I know I've seen them do that a couple times, and they're just like a fan favorite of this league. Everyone loves that team. Love those guys. I'm happy they're here, and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I totally agree. I played with them the other day against, I think it was Penn State. And it was like, just like a couple of mistakes and Penn State. I think it was Penn State. It was like a week and a half ago, I'm not sure. But it was some decent team. Maybe I think it was BC actually. BC. And it's like there's a good core there. I think they're gonna keep getting better and better. A lot of those guys just picked up NHL like 2 or 3 months ago. And a lot of us, I don't know how long you guys have been playing, but playing for like 15 years, right? So
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
you're coming in against guys who play this game like almost religiously. I think that they've definitely done an admirable job, and glad to have them in the league. Let's see what else. I think that kind of covers the
Covers
teams,
the team.
right? Yeah. Do you want to talk about any games? We kind of talked about most of the games. Um, just looking through the agenda. Should we go into the Dozers inside scoop on what is this bipolar? I can't run a team. Let me run a team. What happened with this?
All right. Well, it started with Minnesota one fateful night against Wisconsin. We got shit pumped, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
My guys were all the ones that were playing. Most of them were losing their shit and were just complaining to me about stuff, complaining about our teammates. I couldn't handle it, I simply handed the team off and left.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
mean, I get it. I think it's like you have some guys who maturity levels weren't quite there.
I had
You
been
know, it's
dealing with that since the end of the season 2. I had been
yeah,
dealing with shit like that. Oh, my guys are getting banned left, right, and center, so I had to get out of there. Um,
yeah. No, it's exhausting when you deal with that kind of thing, dude.
yeah,
100%. That's the one thing I really like with Bowling Green. Like, it's so not. There's no like. I mean, people make mistakes, and sometimes it's even bad. But there's no like, really like. I don't think anybody's annoying about it or getting toxic and stuff. So yeah, so you were
yeah,
done with it, and then you decided Robert Morris, and then Robert Morris folds. And
yeah.
what do you think?
I didn't even know what was happening there. I just come on the one day and see that I got sent to uncommitted. Then I was looking through. There was no Robert Morris team anymore. Um, I didn't even really hear about what happened all that much. I was kind of just left out of it.
Yeah, that
And
was a hard decision.
yeah, after that, then I went to do a tryout with Minnesota State, and then I seen that Army had folded. And then I was kind of like, well, we're down on teams here, so me and my buddy Nano start talking about maybe resurrecting a Minnesota team, but we decided to go with Notre Dame this time, see if we can give that school a little better reputation in this league after 2 terrible attempts beforehand.
I'll say. Yeah, I think it's good. It's a new start for you, and it's a new start for Notre Dame in the league too. So definitely,
Yeah,
and playing you guys tonight, it's a different team from your Minnesota team, 100%. It's not like you just took Minnesota and remade it. Definitely a different
I
team.
would never
Um,
have done that.
yeah, I think no, I think it's definitely for a team that literally got made 2 days ago. It was really really solid, and you guys are 500 already. So there you go.
Yeah,
Did you figure out when you're playing your game with Penn State when you guys are making that up?
tomorrow.
Oh shit, tomorrow. Oh yeah, okay. That's something to look forward to. Um,
Yeah,
okay. So, do you have anything to talk about on that?
No, I'm just a bit surprised with what happened in Minnesota because it's not like they were a bad team either. Like they were looking pretty promising. I remember doing the play-by-play with Tints for that series with BC, and it was like they were they were doing really well. Like that team was good. Like they were flying, and so it's just unfortunate to see when teams have like implode kind of like that with personalities. But um, I hope
well,
that one day that maybe you guys will
the
bring it
biggest problem
back.
with that,
Go ahead, Dozer.
Yeah.
the biggest problem with that, like from the end of season 2 when we were flying around and we were doing really well, we had a couple guys quit on us just for their own reasons. And then I brought on some guys that, looking back on it, I really should have been more picky about. Bringing on guys like Jewel, he was a menace to coach.
Yeah. Sure. He's quite a character.
Oh, he is. And he was complaining to me about that first suspension right up until you got him the third time.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I got him the third time. You got him the second time.
Yeah.
Because when I folded, I just said, screw you, I'm not letting you play anymore. But, and then just other guys that all disagreed with each other. And it was just kind of chaos from in between that season 2 right up till the start of season 3. It was just madness in the Discord.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure
it's
you
just
guys are
unfortunate.
excited
Like you
this
guys
year.
were like the sauce pass kings. I remember watching that series, and you guys were just
Yeah.
saucing all the way to neutral zone and like hitting on almost all of them. It was
Yeah.
pretty crazy to see actually.
Yeah, you guys had the season points
Oh, yeah.
leader, Ormsby. I mean, they definitely had some players in the team. Um,
I
but yeah,
wish we would have kept some more people, but can't get them all.
yeah,
So why did you
all right,
guys choose to go with Notre Dame? Like you could have chose any
yeah.
other. You could have chose a brand new school.
Well,
Could have chose anything.
we were trying to get where was it? Indiana, I believe we wanted to go for, but they didn't have a D1 squad, so we went with the next best school from there. Simply that's just because where Nano's going for university, so we just said, well, we might as well use it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so how's that working? So are you guys both coaches? Are you co-coaching this, or is one head coach, assistant coach? How have you guys organized this?
We're kind of splitting the jobs for it. Just because it's at a convenience. If someone can't do something, the other one can step in. It's just kind of something to get the team on its feet quickly. And then I might back off and let Nano have it, but I don't know. It's just, we'll see what happens, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because you guys literally have to make the team and then play a game in like 2 days. So it's like, let's split up the responsibility a little bit here and not make it all on one person. Normally we just have one, but like, who cares?
Yeah.
So we had next on the agenda, and we can do whatever we want here, but next on the agenda we had playoff format, conference tournaments. When and how does it work into playoffs? Do we want to talk about that?
Sure. Because I know there's been a lot of questions of like, how does the playoffs work and what are we going to do this season? So
Yeah.
I was so confused last season, so I had no idea what's happening here.
The short answer is we're going to do the same type of thing that we did with the gauntlet last season. Basically, the idea is the top teams get a bye in the conference for the conference tournament, which is all teams within your conference. And then the bottom teams kind of play in for a chance to play against the top teams. So it'll be
Okay.
like 6 versus 5, 4 versus 3, that kind of thing, or like 6 versus 3, 4 versus 5. And then
All right.
then it'll get up to 1 and 2, and then we'll have one winner. And one winner from each conference goes to the national tournament, Frozen Four,
All
which
right.
has so there's one from
Okay.
each conference guaranteed. And then basically, when you play a game, everybody plays each team of their conference twice, meets them twice. That means 4 games each, right? And then you meet every team in the other conference one time. So it's 2 games each against every other team outside the conference.
sorry, this is regular
there's an
season you're talking
overall-
about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's an overall standings from just counting all of that, right? So let's say the top 2 teams in the overall standings, including both conference and out of conference games, are the teams that win their conference tournament. Then it would be 1 and 2 from the overall standings are in the Frozen Four, and then the next 2 teams, whichever conference they're in, whether they're in one and the other or both from one, will go in and take the last 2 spots in the Frozen Four, and then it'll be like 1 versus 4, 3 versus 2, and then winner plays winner for the national championship, and that'll be the end of the playoffs. Basically, the regular season games, the out of conference games matter a lot because if you're not going to win your conference tournament, you really need to have a great record.
Right. And like, so
I'm-
all the games matter for making the playoffs outside of the conference tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, I think that's what the
conference
confusion was
games
for
only
some
matter
people.
for conference seeding in the tournament,
Right.
right? They also matter for the overall standings, so it's like they matter double basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Makes sense to me. I don't know if we have any questions in chat or if we have any questions here in our broadcasting
Put it in
channel.
the locker room if you have any questions about it. We do have a new system, the scholarship thing, just like put in here. I don't know how many of our owners have read it, but basically the guys who play the most in the season are the ones who are going to be able to play the most in the playoffs. And everybody who's only played under 14 games can only play up to half of the games in the playoffs.
14
Like,
games, so that's a lot.
Yeah, so if you have guys who play like 10 games, they can only play half the games in the playoffs. You have to play your main guys in the playoffs.
That's not a bad rule.
No, I think we were a little worried that there were some teams, especially before this, that had super sweaty lineups that were basically just going to like sit them and then bring out the big guns for the playoffs. To me, that's like not what the league is about. We want like the people playing the league to be able to play the games that matter, right? So it's not like you can't play games if you didn't play most of the season, but you're not going to be like the main guy playing every game in the playoffs. It's
Yeah.
basically the rule.
Okay, and so just to clarify for everyone, if you play a minimum of 14 games during the regular season, you can play as many games in the playoffs as you want.
Yeah, and there's about 32 games in the regular season, so it's just under half the season.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you want to explain what the conferences are then? Because I have no idea.
What teams are in them?
Yeah. Like what teams in what conference?
So I really wasn't feeling creative. I didn't have great names, so I did blue and green because that's the colors that make teal. So I did blue conference is Michigan, Alaska, Michigan State, Omaha, Wisconsin, and Northern Michigan.
All right.
And then the green conference is Boston College, Minnesota State, Bowling Green, Notre Dame, Maine, and Penn State.
All right.
So I think they're pretty even. I think the only thing that might have been a mistake was putting Michigan and Alaska in the same conference because I think that they're both two potentially top teams.
Yeah.
But Maine's in the other conference, and I think there's a lot of really good teams in the other conference too. So I'm not sure that it's clear which conference is so much better quite yet. Although maybe people have different opinions. Do you guys think one conference is much better? Do you guys have any take on that?
I like the two conferences personally. It worked
mean, like the
nice
system.
in season one.
You like the system, yeah. But I mean, do
Yeah.
you think either conference is stronger than the other at a glance right now?
As of right
Go
now,
ahead.
I would say the blue conference is better.
Yeah.
If that's the right one I'm thinking of, I forget what
Yeah,
ones
Michigan,
are which.
Alaska, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the top end of that is pretty scary. But I mean, I don't think Northern Michigan is anything to turn your nose up at. And Omaha clearly has the pieces, and Michigan State's getting better and better. And then
Yeah.
I think in our conference, like, if you came into the season, you would think BC might be the weakest team in this conference. They're undefeated and they're looking good. We have a lot of other teams I think are really, really solid, at least middle of the pack teams. So I think in our conference, there's no easy games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that they're both even kind of in their own way.
I don't disagree with that.
So do you have any preference? You've played in the both conference and the non-conference version now.
Yeah,
Have
no,
any
like I
preference for
like the
system?
system. The conferences are nice because then you kind of build a little bit more rivalries and stuff. So, but yeah, I agree with you guys with the blue conference being a little bit stronger. Like if we just look at our top fives, we all had
Yeah.
Michigan, Wisconsin, and Alaska all in the top fives there. So that's all one
Yeah.
conference.
Same point.
So it's just objectively that way. Like it is stronger, but I mean that can easily change in the next week or two. So, but
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
I would
Like
note all of us have Maine, Penn State, BC, Notre Dame. These are all green conference teams. So all of those are like kind of like upper edging in theory.
yeah, and I just think that the league is getting stronger and it's going to continue to get stronger year over year. So, should be fun. Like I'm excited for these playoffs. So we'll get some more. Like it'll be a little bit longer of a playoff, I guess, with these tournaments as well. So that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Do you want to bring in somebody to close this out or something? Or
Did you want to interview
I
anyone?
think Nano's been asking to come in for the past 20 minutes.
should we let Nano in here?
Yeah, let's see what he has to say, my co-coach here.
All right, you guys bring him in.
Just invite him in. Here we go. What's up, Nano? What's
Wait.
going on?
My audio output's wrong. 1 second.
What?
There we
Audio
go.
is wrong.
Now we're good.
What's going
So-
on, Nano?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. At all, Just had a nice Dairy Queen meal. What's up with you guys?
Do you want to talk on the team a little bit there?
I think we have a good chance here. We brought a lot of guys from another league. We've been playing with each other for the past year and a half now.
Oh, wow.
But that's the thing though. We've been playing threes together. So but we can all transition to sixes. So the question is, does the chemistry transfer over to sixes?
Yeah.
And yeah, some of us haven't been playing together for a year, but most of us have.
You were in the games tonight, right, Nana? You played us tonight.
Yeah.
What did you think about our games?
I think Bowling Green, you're definitely a pretty good team. You don't go for cross creases as much as you do sniping, which is very effective for you.
Yeah, we have some guys who can definitely put in that.
Our team is more of a I don't really know. I think it's more of a passing based team. Would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have some good players. I was on a team with Ack a couple months ago, and he can definitely make some stuff happen. I think you guys are definitely tricky to defend. I was surprised we didn't get more like tripping calls or stuff like that. The way that you guys were in the shot.
That was the one thing we were talking about. We were like, man, you are. We were like, these guys are annoyingly good at poke checking. I mean, your two D men were
They did
absolutely
really
insane at that.
Yeah,
it was very hard to get past.
No, I was psyched because I was like, damn, like you guys were like coming through with the back skating L2. I was like, I don't take penalties, I take penalties. Like they would manage to poke it and get off. And yeah, I thought it was interesting. As always, like game one, we managed to come back and win that. And then I was like, oh man, I was not looking forward to game two because I could just tell like we weren't gonna win. It's hard to beat a team twice when you're pretty close with them.
Yeah, it was a very close series.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you guys are good.
I missed having Dope Mac pump my tires.
All day, baby, all day. Got to make it deep in the playoffs, and I'll cover those games too.
That'll be our push.
Do it so we can get commentated by Doe.
The real thing is I want to circle back to something you started with. You went to Dairy Queen. What did you buy? Did you get ice cream or did you go for a burger or a hot dog?
Well, who the hell gets a hot dog from Dairy Queen?
That people do it. That's why I'm asking.
That's a terrifying thought. Nobody should ever do that.
My mother is a guidance counselor at a high school, and she got a free $6 meal from Dairy Queen, and she just got here. No, wait, what the fuck? I got a text that said got here, so I said that. I don't know what the hell is going on. But, yeah, so she got that, and she gave it to me, and she just left, and I used it. And I got a third-pound double cheeseburger, and with fries, drink, root beer, because root beer's a god. It's the OG drink.
I do like root beer. Root beer's good.
I've gone back onto it in the past few months. I don't know why. And I tried a strawberry sundae. Unfortunately, I got back just before the game, so I had to put it in the freezer, and now the strawberries are frozen solid.
Yeah, that sucks.
That does suck.
I'll be crying myself to sleep tonight. And yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Cool.
Sounds good. Do we have anybody else we want to get up in here who wants to talk? Oh, Eagles fans. Should we get an Eagles fan up in here?
Also, Josh, you should get on Minecraft soon.
I will eventually.
Yes, sir.
All right, sure. I'm gonna get an Eagles fan up in here. How do I do this?
You invite him to chat.
Yeah, I got him.
What's
The Eagles fan himself? What's going on, man?
I think I gotta put you guys on the speaker or something. I can't really hear you right now.
All right. Oh, I have to invite him again, maybe? Let me try.
Yeah.
You there? Technical difficulties? I don't know. Maybe it's doomed when it comes to Eagles fan today.
Well,
do you have anybody else?
he's gone, so
Yeah, I think feels somewhat
maybe
doomed.
it's time.
All
to
right.
Gav wants to come on.
Gav.
We got Phil Kessel raising his hand. What's going on, Gav?
So I just have a question. This is for Dobe. I
For
have a
me?
question about the number one center position at Michigan.
That was a
What-
statement. Is there a
what-
question to go along with that?
Don't chastise me. Who do you think is the number one center on Michigan?
Hang on, let me just change the title of who we're talking to here. You might want to check it out. The number one center on our team. We go basically off of stats. It would probably be Tints.
Going off
Tints or
statistics,
myself.
I would say Gavin.
I'd say
I would say Gav too.
I'd say Gav's doing an admirable job in positions that we're putting him in to succeed. He does have a bit of an attitude problem, so I'm not sure where he sits with coach right now. And I
You need
think
your center to be a leader.
I do. We do. We need leaders. We need people who, you know, are team players that believe in the team, believe in the system, and you know, Gav, he's doing an admirable job, but it's still a wait and see approach when it comes to him. When you bring, you know, when you have top prospects like him, you gotta take it slow. Don't want to rush them. Want to give them good chances.
Development.
It's all about
Slow stroke.
development.
Okay. All right. That's all. That was my one question. Bye.
Alrighty. Oh, that's interesting. Did anybody have anything else? Any comments for this week? Well, Eagles fan is raising his hand again. Maybe he's maybe third time's the charm.
Hey, you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
We can hear
Yep.
you.
Perfect, I hear you guys now. Hooray.
Alright. Welcome.
Excited to be here. Are we able to listen to this like afterwards? They're gonna be like a link to it or something?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Yeah, I was playing games. I only came in a little bit. I heard you guys complimenting Wolfie earlier, so had to come in and thank you for that.
Yeah, what do you probably missed our talking about BC. What do you think about your team this season and the off changes you made?
I love our new combos that we got now. I heard you say before that we had a good like pieces in place, and then we just added to it. Improved in goal and got some more defensemen. Because I think all of our forwards were pretty good last year, but we got a few defensemen in there now, and everything's cleaner on the back end, and I think that'll be the difference.
I didn't even think your D was that bad. I remember your series against, I think it was the Minnesota series. You guys looked pretty good defensively.
Oh
I
yeah,
saw
we
that.
had a hell of a battle to win that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. Yeah, it was good.
So I have a
Yeah,
question.
so I think
So,
What's up?
Eagles, do you think it's important to have family on your team?
You're saying that because my man J-Man at left wing, my cousin?
Yeah, like do you feel it's important? You think you're gonna have that chemistry right off the bat?
Absolutely. I've been playing NHL with J-Man for like 10 years. We already have the chemistry. It's like synchronized swimming with two people.
nice.
Especially helpful on like zone entries and stuff.
So how come
Yeah,
you didn't
he's-
have him
he's
on the
good.
team in previous seasons?
This is my first season being coach. I joined BC like halfway through the year last year, and they only needed one guy. I didn't want anyone else.
Cool. Just interested.
I
Just
asked to
wanted
have
know.
them join last year, but they liked their squad they already had.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw. I had you guys in my top 5. I was the only one who did it. The other guys, I had no faith in the Eagles. So just remember
It's
that.
an excellent
when the season
position.
comes.
It's going to be interesting to see because I think the quality of competition we're about to face, like Maine coming up, is going to be a little higher. So we really
Yeah.
don't know exactly where we're going to be. We're definitely good enough to beat some bottom and middle of the pack teams, but we don't know how good we'll be against the top of the league. We'll be finding out.
Yeah, I think that's basically what we were saying. It's like we'll see. We definitely got a lot of tough games on the schedule this season, so a lot to prove.
Tell you what, Wolfie can bail us out. We had a scrimmage against Michigan the other day. Not quite our full team, but they only scored one goal until like the very end, and they had the puck like the entire game. And so a good goalie, like even in NHL playoffs, you see a good goalie can sometimes just take you pretty far and then get some fluky goals or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think Wolf is definitely serious goalie. Alrighty, so I guess, does anybody else have anything, or are we kind of wrapping it up?
I think we can just close it out. It was a good first episode. I'll try to do these either every week or every other week and go from there.